Hey everyone, my name is Rakesh and today we are going to learn about a topic what is forward and reverse proxy is because I've seen so many DevOps and cloud engineer struggle on this topic. So I want to make sure I use simple examples so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so let's start with first what is a proxy. So as you can see and see this in diagram, uh, one user is trying to connect with a server, but in between that there is a proxy. So proxy is something like it will sit between you and the server. So as you can see this in definition that a middleman between you and the internet. So here in the diagram, proxy is sitting between the client who needs some information from the server, but he doesn't want to directly share his IP with the server, so he is using proxy in that case. So what's the use case of the proxy is like if you want to hide your identity or if you don't want to share your IP with the server, so you can use proxy. So it also used for protecting the server and filtering the traffic as well. Okay, now let's see what is forward proxy is. So forward proxy is something like it will hide your IP from the internet. It doesn't let your IP known to the server. So as you can see this in flow, like you will request something from the server, but it will not directly share your IP. In between that, there will be a proxy, and then proxy's IP will share with the internet or the server, so that your IP will be intact in this case. So as website will see proxy's IP. So as I just said, uh, the server which you are trying to connect, it will see the proxy's IP, not your IP. And it is mostly used in VPNs or corporate proxies. So they are using the forward proxies. Now we'll see how actually the forward proxy works. So I've already have a diagram for it. So as you can see this in diagram, so I'll start with from the left hand. Here all the users are there who need some request or they need something from the server. So first they'll reach out to proxy forward proxies, and then from forward proxy, so it will generate an IP for a client, and from using that particular IP, it will talk to internet, and then it will reach out to that specific server. So in that case, this server will only knows the forward proxy IP, not the client IP. So the server doesn't know which client is requesting for this access because he can only see the IP of forward proxy. So yeah, so this is the way forward proxy works. So I'll explain you like what's the use cases of the forward proxy. So as we know, even our government blocks some sites, but let's say user wants to access that sites. So in that case, he can use forward proxies. So what forward proxy will does, it will hide the client IP and access the site using the forward IP, forward proxy IP. Or take an example, let's say some specific site is blocked in your country, but it doesn't blocked in another country. So you can ask your friend to access that particular website and share the information. So this is how also forward proxy works. And next use case is like browse anonymously. You don't want to share your IP with the server, so you can use forward proxies. Now let's move to reverse proxy and try to understand how reverse proxy works. So in this case, reverse proxy, it will hide server from the client. So in forward proxy, what happens? It will hide the client IP. And in reverse proxy, it's opposite. Like it will hide the server IP from the client. So I'll give an example here. Let's say a client is trying to reach out to particular server. So in that case, what happens? Client will not know what is the exact IP of this server. So client will send a request. It will go to a reverse proxy, and then reverse proxy will decide. that request will go to which server. So only in this case, reverse proxy will know the server, not the client. So as we can see, proxy chooses which backend to handle that request. That means the reverse proxy will decide which server will handle that request. So, so in this case, real server get hidden. So the IP of the exact server will be hidden from the client. And the example of this reverse proxies are Nginx is the most famous one, which is used for reverse proxy. And then we have Cloudflare and load balancer as well. Now let's see how exactly the reverse proxy works. So in this diagram, the diagram is similar to what for forward proxy. There is only difference between this thing. So here client will request for specific service from internet, and then internet will route that traffic to reverse proxy, and then reverse proxy will decide the request will go to which server. So here in this case, client doesn't know exact IP of the server, only the reverse proxy will know the IP of the particular server. So reverse proxy will decide that IP will go to which server. So this is how reverse proxy work. So I hope you understand like what forward and reverse proxy is. Let's now understand the use cases of reverse proxy. So first example is stop attacks before they reach server. So what it does, as client doesn't know the server's exact IP, so what reverse proxy will do in this case, if it see uh, there is a lot of requests coming to a specific server, it will route that traffic to a dummy server, so that client will not able to understand the server's IP, and he will also block attacker to reach out to the particular server, and it filter and block the bad traffic. And when it sees like the reverse proxy understand if it is a bad actor who are trying to access, who are trying to get the access of the server, it, as I said, it will move the traffic to a dummy server, so that attacker will never know the exact server location, or he will never able to gain the access of that server. Okay, I hope you understand now how forward and reverse proxy work. So we'll just summarize this with like what we have learned in this session. So proxy is something like a middleman. As I said, proxy sits between you and internet, so that server doesn't know the client IP. So forward proxy, so what it does, it will hide your IP, and reverse IP is opposite to that. It will hide the IP of the server. So even I've explained this in very basic diagram. In forward proxy, it will hide the IP of a client, and in reverse proxy, it will hide the IP of the server. So I hope you understand this session, and it cleared your doubt about what forward proxy and reverse proxy is.